The year is 2030. World War III is happening due to rogue AI. But we made a promise to the community. So we thought, fuck it. Let's just do it. Take this risk. Every holder of us is literally holding a piece of history because it's the first NFT collection on the moon. We want people to build the worlds that they want to see instead of us building it. You gear up beforehand with your primary weapon, secondary weapon. But every weapon is an NFT. So it holds value, right? So yeah, it's high stakes, high reward. So their mission is to recolonize Earth where it all began.
And welcome back to SolanaFloor. Today I'm joined by Kai, who's the co-founder and CEO of Eden, a Web3 gaming company that recently migrated to the Solana ecosystem from the XRP ledger. So exciting news there. Kai and his team have big plans for Eden and of course their OG NFT collection called XPUNKS. And we're going to talk about that migration to the Solana ecosystem and the game, of course. And we're going to get a cheeky preview at some point of the game as well. So I'm eager to find out what's next for Eden. Kai, thank you very much for joining me.
Great. It's a bull market. We're feeling good. Very little sleep, but we're living on cortisol at the moment, but things are great.
Kai, I want to kick things off with a bit of background on Eden, because I know you're busy with quite a few projects and we're going to touch on them all, but what inspired you to start Eden specifically?
Well, my entire game journey, I think. Well, if you want to go all the way back, it started like at the backseat of my parents' car when we were traveling when I was 6, probably playing like Pokemon Yellow. But yeah, no, I've always been a very vivid and active gamer. I just love video games. I love, the community building of that. I've been gaming since I was 6. So when XPUNKS like really hit off, 2021, so that's 3 years ago, just like a century ago in crypto terms. But yeah, things were just going so well. And we used that attention to, build other products. So we built bits.com as well. After that, it's like, okay, so we want to pursue this one game that we've always had in our mind that like, okay, this post-apocalyptic setting, you have to rebuild stuff, highly competitive. That's when we thought, okay, what if we pitched this to our partner back then was Ripple? And yeah, they loved it. They actually gave us a grant for it. And we took that money and did the initial build. Then, yeah, sadly, some complications happened, whereas we couldn't, deliver at that point. But that's a story for another time. But we managed to get out of it. Get out of the mess that we were in back then, build an in-house game development team full of talent. And we got so lucky with the people that we found. It was a game studio, and I have to give them a shout out, called Turing Studio, led by Tin and his team. And they were in between like clients. They were building their own thing, and they didn't really have anything to do at the time. And we got introduced through somebody else to them, and instantly there was just chemistry between us. They loved the idea. They never done anything with blockchain, like not needed either, because at the end we have blockchain developers for that in house, so we didn't need that either. We really wanted to build a Web2 game that is fun. Like we didn't want to do the usual play to earn shit. So we talked to them. They got really excited, and yeah. Very shortly after, we onboarded their entire team. And yeah, they're now basically our in-house development team. We work together very closely on this. And you can just see the passion when in difference. Like our previous partner was Semtrex, was a nightmare. This is something I can't say. It was a complete nightmare. I'm very happy we got out of that. And the product, spoke for itself back then, what was happening there, because it was just not a game. It was more of like a 3D environment you could move in, but it was not a game. And that's, what was the big part of the mess we were in. And we actually started rebuilding Eden, was it about, I think 8 months ago? 7 months ago, just rebuilding it after a year and a half development. Can you imagine? It was not fun, but we made a promise to the community. We made a promise to ourselves, and, we really believe in this vision. So F it. I don't know if I can say those words here on the stream. So
absolutely.
Just to say,
yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah. Well, it's the Solana ecosystem now. Anything goes.
Perfect. Yeah. So we thought, fuck it. Let's just do it. Take this risk and build this product we promised to our community. I think 2 years ago. And thankfully we found this team. They are building extremely fast. Like obviously we would have been way faster if we would have started with them sooner. But it's going well, and we're looking at a alpha launch Q1. So alpha launch Q1. In the next couple of days, we will release the trailer, and we already took the community into a stream inside the environment that we created, and the gameplay. And yeah, it's sick.
I want to go back to something you mentioned there, XPUNKS, which is, I guess, your original sort of foray into crypto and Web3. And I know there's a very interesting story there that involves the moon. So maybe you can give us a little bit of a sort of insight onto that, and then we're going to switch right back to Eden. And I want to hear also your journey of migrating from the XRP ledger into the Solana ecosystem too. But XPUNKS first, tell me about that.
It's a great story. We launched the 8th of October 2021, same day as DGOTS. It was not planned. It was definitely not planned. I was doing a little bit with NFTs, buying and trading. I didn't follow DGOTS at the time. Now I'm a holder. But at the time, it was just, just joining some hyped up mints. And then I was always a vivid participator on the XRPL ecosystem, a community member, so to speak, like 3 years ago. And then I saw that Ripple announced a 250 mil creator fund for creators to kickstart the NFT ecosystem, because back then NFTs weren't live yet. So they did announce that they are going to go big into NFTs. And I thought, okay, hey, there's no NFTs yet, obviously, because the tech wasn't there. But how can I front run this? How can I have this first mover advantage? And what should be the product if I find this first mover advantages? And I thought, okay, hey, every chain always launches first like punks. So, hey, let's create our own version of punks called XPUNKS. And I don't know, I think I did a giveaway or something. And within 2 hours, the account had like 3,000 followers. And so then I thought, okay, hey, call my best friends. Like, hey, guys, something is going on. I'm not sure, but I'm going to need help. And yeah, we started building the brand and the art, because there was nothing. So started building it. And then like 3.5 weeks in, I said, I think our price was sitting at like 2.5K. And I said, okay, if our price ever reaches 10K, I'll get a tattoo on my arm. Well, it reached that literally 2 days after, because Ripple mentioned us in their quarterly report that the price went nuts. And then the arrogant guys, we were, we thought we could tackle on the world. We reached 100 mil market cap. We came from nothing. Like, let's go. We did a billboard campaign on Times Square in order to try to reach Elon Musk to get an XPUNK on a SpaceX rocket. So got one of the biggest billboards there, ran an ad for like a week straight. And yeah, everybody was obviously calling us crazy, saying like, hey guys, what the fuck are you doing? This is a waste of money, pump the price instead of, spend your money on this. And for about 1.5 years, we didn't hear anything. I think 2 years, 1.5 years, 2 years, until somebody that I met at a conference saw the footage of this billboard on my Instagram. And then I heard this story about this mission it's by the Arch Mission Foundation. And what their mission is, basically, they want to store humankind's history on a different planet to preserve it in case of a mass extinction event. And then if there is extraterrestrial life, they could still find it. So like, it's awesome, that mission, just preserve art and just history. The goal is everything, but they wanted to start with a test, and they tested it together with Intuitive Machines to build the rover, SpaceX, and NASA. This was the first US-led mission to the moon since like Kennedy's speech, since like the 70s. So it was a big deal, and it was like, I think there were like spots for like 6 or 7 commercial payloads, of which one is the Lunar Prize disc. And the Lunar Prize disc contains the art of 222 artists. And you can think Van Gogh, Picasso, Pink Floyd, like really big fucking names. And the XPUNKS. We're number 69 on the artist 69, of course, had to take the number, of course. And there's 44 other NFT artists, and there's only one full collection that's under, and that's us. So it wasn't merely like, okay, hey, we completed the meme going to the moon. No, it's like, an actual dream for us to reach space. If we can't do it, at least our art went, right? And yeah, the rest is history. So we made it to the moon.
Outrageous. You now have a full collection of NFTs on the moon, presumably forever.
Forever, yeah. Yeah, the disc is built to withstand billions of years. It's like completely patent protected, and, yeah, it's fucking cool. Every holder of us is literally holding a piece of history, because it's the first NFT collection on the moon.
Exciting. Okay, so I want to zoom out for a second. We're very curious to find out what made you decide you wanted to leave the XRPL and migrate to the Solana ecosystem. How did that happen?
So basically, I have to say this as politically as possible, of course. But basically what happened is, we joined the XRPL ecosystem with a promise of a 250 million creator fund. And this, 250 mil to just boost NFTs, that's a huge fucking deal, Like, I don't think any chain has that much capital dedicated to just artists. And so we saw that as an opportunity. It was one of the biggest reasons that I launched the XPUNKS there. And yeah, basically it got faded, and that promises were not made. And then during the bear market, like especially after NFTs went live on the XPL, and then, the 250 mil creator fund was just not happening. And we were thinking, okay, like how are we were already number one on XRP. How are we actually going to grow the brand? We have an obligation to our holders. And that at the end is for me the most important. And we've been working before we made this decision. It was a very tough decision, obviously, because, the biggest NFT project and the first NFT project to launch on XRP moving out, that's a big deal. So we thought, okay, we gave it, I think, like 8 months of just, thinking and assessing, strategizing, seeing what's happening. And we just saw people leaving. We saw developers being unhappy because nobody's getting funded. And it was just a very weird dynamic. Even we have an obligation to our holders. And, regardless whether XRP would pump again or not, at the end, we felt that just the entire Solana ecosystem resonated so much more with us. And, we went to events, been to all the parties, to Kleno, DGOTS, to all the events. And we were always making a friend with the Soul Degens. Like every single time, we were just hanging out with Soul people. But yeah, then we thought, okay, how are we going to do this? How are we going to make people on Soul care? When we announced it, like it went pretty viral. I think our announcement posted like 1,000 likes, which was like 3 years ago. The last post had 1,000 likes. It was at the previous board. And like we had a shitload of engagement back then. This was the first post that was like, okay, hey, we have a ton of engagement. We even had Toli from Solana like retweeting us and everything. It was awesome. Then it took a little bit too long to bridge. NFTs went pretty much down there at like I think a couple of days before we bridged. And then literally, I think like a day after, like you get with DGOTS suddenly, okay, we're going to bridge now back as well. Or like, okay, yeah, well, there goes our attention. But yeah, regardless, we're still, building everything we're doing. And making a lot of noise. And I'm super pumped about what's next because, we're releasing the 3D art, we're releasing Eden.
A lot is happening.
And I still think, it is a great choice. Like, even though we're not top volume on Sol yet, with what we're building, the team we have and a community that's active, I'm extremely bullish on our future. We focus our building activity on Sol. If people still want the provenance on XRP, they can have it. But yeah, also this first NFT collection on Ripple is also be able to be bought on Solana. So that's kind of funny.
That's pretty monumental. Yeah,
I think, I think the founders are just really fucking chats. They know what they're doing. They're super smart. And everyone I meet from the Solana team, they always impress me. I've talked to a lot of layer ones and a lot of teams, and for me, it's always been like the Solana folks standing out.
We've covered the XRPL, the initial journey. We've covered XPUNKS. We've talked about bids a little bit. I want to talk about Eden and the game development process. So what can you tell me about the sort of core gameplay and what players can look forward to as well?
Yeah, so Eden is our baby. Eden is the one thing that I love working on the most. Sadly, I'm not working on that the most because I'm not a developer myself, but it's always the Eden meetings that are the most fun. But basically, Eden, the year is 2030. World War III is happening due to rogue AI, and then all the governments are bundling their best and their brightest into a spaceship called the Eden spaceship. They're sending it to orbit Earth as a lost hope for humankind survival. So while they are in the spaceship, the Earth is destroying itself, and then something happens to the spaceship where they are forced to land back. And they land back between the Euphrates and the Tigris, which is, according to the Bible, where the Garden of Eden was supposed to be. So their mission is to recolonize Earth where it all began. So you play as a clone/cyborg. Your mission is to basically rebuild the first habitable city back on Earth where it all began. And the game has basically two elements. And one element is the game itself. The second element is the metaverse. Yeah, I'll give some reasons about that later. And the metaverse area is basically, so I have to say this beforehand, like we're not going to go live with the full product in Q1. I have to add that because it's a really big product. The game is just going to go live in Q1. The metaverse is going to go being rolled out Q3, Q4, going into 2026 as a full release. But the metaverse area division, there is basically you have 250 domes. In each dome there's 62 prefabs. In these prefabs there are like little houses, and there's also land plots where you'll be able to trade, interact, socialize, craft as well. We really want to touch into the creator economy of things, creating like no code, being able to like for people being able to build like no code maps, game modes, almost like entire world within these domes and apart, and then being able also to monetize it without, having to code anything or game development. Just very easy, plug and play, creating the world. Because at the end, we want people to build the worlds that they want to see instead of us building it. Plus, it's for us also a lot more cost effective, of course, so that we can focus more on the core mechanics and the infrastructure. So that's the metaverse area. And the game area is what I think is going to be really fucking fun. And I think everybody on Sol as well will love it. And that's basically, it's a 20-person extraction royale shooter. So 20 people jump into a match. You gear up beforehand with your primary weapon, secondary weapon, anything that will help you survive, like health, shield. And then you jump into a match. You have to find the exit. Once you find the exit and extract, you survive, you quote unquote win, and you get to keep your shit. But if you die, you lose everything. Same goes if you kill somebody else, you get to keep their shit. If you kill NPCs or drones that are flying around, you get to keep their shit, but you have to extract in order to keep it. But every weapon is an NFT, so it holds value, right? So yeah, it's high stakes, high rewards. And to even add in another like degenerate element on there is that we'll also be offering like player hosted tournaments. Somebody could create a lobby, buy in is 1 Sol. And, if you kill somebody, they drop their soul, you pick it up, you get to keep it, you extract, you keep their soul.
That's really degen. I like that. High stakes.
Yeah. First person shooter, and everything is like in the style of this post-apocalyptic environment. So we mix like the super futuristic modern shit with like deserted Earth that is completely destroyed due to like nuclear wars and shit. So weapons, you have your standard issue weapon, which is like super modern, but the weapons you find, you gather, they're like tubes with like a fork as a crosshair, like a fire canister as a submachine gun. It's just very, very do-it-yourself weapons, because we wanted to give this, allure that, you're not going to find M4s, MP5s, or laser guns on Earth when it's destroyed. No. But then later, in these creator-driven worlds, we want to obviously offer our player base the opportunity to, build their own weapons, craft it. Maybe they can make it more modern and, really expand on that. We find it very important that, all these NFTs / weapons are going to be displayed on marketplaces and need to look authentic and cool and recognizable, adhering to the brand. So that's why we chose, like the more rundown shit. And I think, they look very awesome.
Absolutely. So I wanted to ask you about that as well. When can we see both the trailer and some of the sneak previews of the gameplay? And I guess the bigger question on everyone's minds at this point probably is, when can we actually dive in and play the game ourselves?
The core game loop and all the infrastructure, blockchain integration is all done. We work together with GameShift from Solana Labs in order to do the blockchain infrastructure. This will go live during an alpha, so we can, scale it accordingly, add another map, add another part of the map, and so on. Test our networking. So Q1, I am very confident to say that people will be able to jump into Eden with like the basic blockchain integration for weapons and player owned tournaments. And then we're looking like Q2 for like the bigger map, and then Q3 for, I think, more direction of the creator driven like starting routes, so like small customizability, and then like Q4, Q1 2026, it's like full launch game, complete monetization for creators and so on. And I'm very confident to say this with the current team. With the previous team, I wouldn't.
No, it takes a lot to be able to say, hey, look, we've made mistakes. Everything wasn't exactly perfect, but we're moving in the right direction. And on that, I want to ask you, if you are looking at a sort of, Q1 to Q4 modular development process, what kind of benefits would the early adopters of the game get, aside from being able to maybe catch some of the sort of NFTs early? What do the people that start playing the game in its alpha stage get as a benefit?
So we'll obviously, for people that jump into Eden, there'll be a scoreboard. We'll be counting kills. We'll be counting items extracted. I'm not sure whether we go live with the alpha, with the actual, full blockchain integration on mainnet, maybe just on testnet, but everything is getting sorted in a database. Eden is going to have a currency. And that's like all I'm about to say, so people can make up their own mind. Nothing has announced here either, so I'll give you the true alpha here. Yeah, I'm pumped. I'm really pumped about Eden. I'm
excited. I'm excited as well. The Web3 gaming space has been really taking off, but I think specifically within the Solana ecosystem, there's a lot of really, really cool projects. So, I think I can speak for the entire ecosystem when I say welcome to Solana, and it's great to see that you guys have come here with so much energy and passion. And really looking forward to catching up with you in the coming weeks and months as well. Where can our audience follow along with the developments of Eden, with XPUNKS, with bids? Where should we go?
We have on X, of course, XPUNK NFTs on X. We have XPUNKS.club on as our website. Eden is Eden.game as a website, and also Eden.game on X. And bits, we have bits on XRPL, bits on Core, or BIDDS.com. And also one thing I always forget to say that, but it's one of the most important things for Eden for when it comes to adoption is that you'll be able to play it on a 3-year-old MacBook. Like we optimized the shit out of everything. So I think that like everybody on Sol, at least that we saw, has a MacBook, whether like a 3-year-old MacBook Pro, M1 processor, we can handle Eden like 50, 60 FPS good.
Brilliant. So anyone with a gaming laptop that's, less than 3-4 years old should theoretically be able to get involved.
Oh, gaming laptops, I think even older. But no, we optimize it for Mac, which we found very important because everybody has a Mac. Not everybody has a gaming laptop or a PC. I think we're hitting like maybe a 1080 a GTX. I think that would be possible. Otherwise, you're leaning more going into like the 2060, 2070. I'm not sure where we stand after this new map, but M1 processor for MacBook for sure. Anything from the 3060, 3070, definitely.
Awesome. Exciting news. Kaj, thank you so much for making time to talk to us today. I really appreciate it, and looking forward to catching up in the coming weeks.
Thanks for having me, Jack.